Doing a little gluing today. Hey, it's Care. Welcome to my Tick at the Lake. I wanted to show you a little bit of what I do once I harvest a whole bunch of glue things. This you'll recognize, hopefully, if you're new here. This is my Seasons glue book that I'm working in for the hashtag, an open collaboration that Amy at Doki Doki Forest and I have started called hashtag using the same images. That means we get the same magazines and harvest them together over FaceTime or Zoom or however we could manage to do it, and decide together which images we're going to use so that we each have the exact same pile of stuff to play with. And then we go our separate ways and we go to glue booking. And the whole point is just to see how we each use the very same stuff differently. Now this time we could only find one magazine that was remotely wintry, and we did harvest it together. It was the January 2024 edition of Birds and Blooms Extra. I'll link that video below if you'd like to see us harvest it and have those videos. She did the first half, I did the second half. If you'd like to see where all these images came from. Because we could only find that one magazine, we decided to do a digital version as well. And she went to the internet and found 4 pages worth of images that she liked that were winter themed. And I went to the internet and found 4 pages of winter images that I liked. And then we sent them to each other. So between us, we have 8 full pages of digital yumminess to play with. And we both put those on our Patreon page. So if you want to play along, you can still go get the winter digital images. They're free. You don't have to be a patron, although it would be awesome. You don't have to be a patron to get them. They're just free and anyone can play along. Go get hers, go get mine so that you have the full 8 pages, cut them up and glue book with them, and then come back and see what we did with ours. It's just fun to see how very differently we put the same things together. So once we harvested the magazines, you saw that I had just this pile of stuff from the magazine. We harvested the magazine right to death. There was just 3 staples laying there where they fell and a few remnants of pages. We harvested the guts out of that book. That magazine. So we had a nice pile of images, all shapes and sizes, and words, phrases. And I just want to show you what I've done with that pile, with those images. And this is pretty typical of what I do whenever I harvest stuff for a glue book. I took all of the piles of images that we had and I cut them, cut the margins off, cut off text, and just neatened them up. And I organized them by size. These are all my giant ones. Great big, full page, pretty decent size. Some I, sort of cut a little bit. This I left. I could probably just glue over it. But I neatened up the big ones and did the same thing with the medium-sized ones and the little ones. There's some tiny ones. I did a little bit of fussy cutting so far. There may be more fussy cutting, I'm not sure. So they're organized by size so that people can play along. If people were able to get the January edition of the Birds and Blooms book that we used, we both went through image by image so that you can see exactly what we cut out of that magazine. If you want to play along too, we tacked it on the end of each of our videos. So either one you pick, you can go and see exactly what we cut out so that you'll have the same thing. And we're going to glue all those together separately. And for the people who could not get the magazine but did go get the digital files, we're going to be gluing those separately as well. And I just did the same thing with the digital versions. These are the smallest ones, not really fussy cut, but sort of. These are the little images. medium and words and the larger images, as well as the backgrounds and scraps. And I've cut them all and neatened them all up. I cut them to size. I cut the borders off. I may do more fussy cutting. I'm not sure. But as I was cutting these, of course, I'm mulling in my mind about how am I going to put these together. Sometimes it's totally random. I just pick what I like and I build a page as I go. But when I was doing these digital ones, especially, I was thinking, well, I could put all of the scenery ones together. There's a lot of scenic, outdoorsy type. I could group all those together. That's one way to do it. Organize it by sort of a theme. Could also organize it by color. A lot of blues, of course, because it's winter. You know, you have the backgrounds. There's quite a bit of blue background, so you could build a background and then layer the colors over it. You could just do it totally random. Another thing I thought about doing was just stacking the pile, picking a large, a medium, and a small, a large, medium, and a small, and just literally letting it be random, which is a nice idea, but I don't think my everything has to have a theme, and organized chaos must come together in a coordinated matchy. I don't know if I can get past that or not and just do totally random. Although I will confess, I've already done a couple of pages and I was just itching to glue some stuff, and nothing was cut apart yet. Nothing was organized in any way. They were just all crammed in here. And what I did to do those pages, and I'm just going to give you just a whisper, I'll just show you the one page. What I did to do this page was I reached in the back where all the stuff was and I pulled a piece out and I started putting things down just as they came out. So it's fairly random, and that's how I did that. I cut it up as I went. It took a lot longer than if they're all done. That's why I like to do it this way, because the things are all ready to go. I don't have to stop and cut each piece. It's very production line, and for me, time is money. You know, I don't want to spend twice 10, 15 times as long to do something if there's a way that I can speed it up a little bit. And so for me, having everything cut neat and ready to go, I can just grab and put down once I make my decision on how I'm going to do it. But as you see, I have lots of gluing left to do. And I am going to just glue a little bit here on camera, just for fun, just to do something a little different, see how these things work out. And I'm going to work with the magazine images right now. I'm just going to pull out that stack of extra large pieces and my medium pieces and my little pieces and my fussy cut. Now I have one more piece of this puzzle that I forgot to show you, but you've already seen it. This little bucket of goodies from the harvesting, the phrases, the words, the numbers, etc. So I have all these yet. I haven't trimmed up any of these. I haven't done anything with it except move this bucket around from place to place to place. That's all I've done. So I'm gonna get to where my next page is gonna be, and this is gonna be right after my Christmas spread. I'm gonna start this other one that I did that I just showed you. Here, Halloween starts right around, winter starts right around Halloween. So I finished up my fall stuff from our fall part of this collaboration, hashtag using the same images. This is the last of my fall. So I wanted to go right into winter, and I did that, and we did a few pages of Christmas. So I did winter, and then Christmas came, and I want to start now right after Christmas to do more winter, because of course we've months of winter left after. So for this, I really don't have an idea going in of how I want things to happen. I do know a few things that I always try to make sure of, and that is because I've had the benefit of design training. I'm marketing and advertising major. I'm the daughter of an artist and the daughter of a photographer. So design, the good elements of design like scale and contrast, those kinds of things are always at play in the back of my mind. Kind of like driving, you know, all the rules of the road and whatnot, they're always in the back of your mind, but you're just driving. You don't think about them anymore. They're just part of they're ingrained in your brain. One of the good elements of design, and this may help you you know, if you're looking at your layouts and something just isn't right and you can't put your finger on it, one of the things I see a lot of time that is contrary to the elements of good design is having critters, people, animals, cartoons facing out of the project. You want everything to kind of look inward. You want to draw your reader into that page, into that spread. And so having one looking in and one looking out, it just kind of draws you out to Nowheresville. This guy should be facing in. So I can't have both of these guys. Plus there's too much the same. So you need a little more contrast. Thus the large, medium, small, and tiny, plus some words, plus some numbers. Now there's something like this where there's one bird facing each direction. I would put this right in the center, just like that, because you've got them facing in. If we put him here, I probably wouldn't do that though. I want to keep as much of that snow flecking as I can, so he'll probably go on another page. This guy's looking straight at us. He's kind of fun. One of the challenges of this particular part of the project is how to avoid it looking like you're perusing a Birds and Blooms magazine. You know, when you only have the one magazine to work with, that may be a tall challenge. We'll see. Here's a good one. Now this guy's facing into the camera, but he's too big. He's going to cover some stuff up. I don't want to lose his tail, so he needs his own whole page. So let's get out of the giant section here and see what the medium pieces have to offer. Oh, he's fun. He's kind of a cool squirrel. Now, he's not really facing anyway. He's facing down, but everything in him, again, goes off the page. Everything in him is directing our eye. You know, if we follow things, that's how our brains work. That's how we look at stuff. We read through. We read left to right. So having him facing out, we're going to start here, top left, as we read, and we're going to watch his tail, and he's just going to take us right off the page. So we can't have that. What else do we have? This little guy, he's facing inward. He's facing the right direction, and there was a little factoid here that I cut off. I've been tucking the factoids in. I might cover over that 1851 or keep the 1851 and put it back together the way it came. I accidentally cut it apart. Whoops. Oh, this little guy, he's facing the right way. He's a nice balance with the blue jay. What a beautiful bird. Oh, such a gorgeous bird. He's looking the right direction and oh, so elegant. And I can cover up the word house sparrow. I like that. I had to put those things together. Are you nuts? And that kind of looks like what he's saying. Are you nuts? So I'm going to put that together. Or serving up suet. Are you nuts? But they love suet. Keep birds fueled and happy. Serving up suet. Keep birds fueled and happy. Are you nuts? I like it back down here though. I like it with him because he's kind of attitudinal, and that just, well, you know, speaks to me. And there's a lot of, you know, some people can just glue shit down and oh, boom, we're done. Next. I don't have that in me. I have to play around with it a little bit. I have to feel good about it because I quite enjoy flipping through finished glue books. It just brings me great pleasure. And so one of the things that I thought I would do, and I'm still not sure about it, but this is an idea that rattled through my brain. We cut out quite a bit of green houseplants. I'm not a big fan of houseplants. Nothing about this to me says winter at all. And we decided to cut out these bright, beautiful things. But again, to me, none of this says winter. But underneath every winter, there is an eternal spring and an endless summer, right? The seasons. And so I thought I would do all my winter pages, but then here and there, literally kind of tucked underneath, would be one piece of summer or spring or something bright that I don't know where else to put. I like this too. Caption this. That makes me happy. I see the bird or the critter, whoever's saying this, caption this, flipping you off as he's saying it. Yes, I do. Oh, caption this. Yep, that's what I see. So maybe I'll save, are you nuts? I don't know, caption this. I think, are you nuts goes better with him. Now this RU is kind of angled out this way, and so in order to kind of make it feel a little bit better, I might tilt it. That's why I kind of want it down here, because it's in the center, but then I'm not sure that it reads as it's coming, you know, like a thought bubble. So I'm probably going to put it on an angle. I could also cut the nuts out a little bit. Now usually I always try to cover up all the back. The backing bothers me, but I'm getting over that here and there, primarily because I don't want to just put something in there. It has to go in here. I like these red berries. They kind of balance each other on the corners. That's another element of design, is balance. One of the things that drives me absolutely bananas to see, and I see it over and over and over again, is people have a smallish journal, and ruffles were a big thing for a long time. People were making ruffles left, right, and center. And they have this small journal, and they have this giant, it looks like blanket binding, 3.5, 4-inch ruffle on one page. It's so overpowering to this small journal. A ruffle on this journal ideally would be a couple inches, 1.5 inches, just a tiny little ruffle, not this big god awful ugly looking prom dress of a ruffle thing sticking out of a book. If things aren't feeling right, or they don't quite sit right with you, or they're not selling well, brush up on your basic design principles. Contrast, balance, direction, and see just a few simple tweaks, like having that balance, having some carry through, having things facing inward versus directing the viewer right off the page one way or the other may help. In fact, I know it will help. So I'm going to get to gluing. Enough of me chatting, but I just wanted to show you a little bit of my process before I show you the big reveal. I have a lot of gluing to do because, as you saw in the back, I have all the digital images as well. I hope you're playing along. I hope you were able to find a copy of this edition of Birds and Blooms, and or have gone to get our freebies to do the digital part and are playing along. I'd love to hear if you're doing this and how it's going, and what you think of the collaboration and the hashtag and the idea of many people using the same things and seeing how we do it differently. On Patreon, you can show me pictures now. I do believe they've changed it all up, and we can have these nice little communities where you can show me stuff. I think I'm still learning the new Patreon. I didn't know the old Patreon very well, so it may take a while, but I'd love to see what you're doing, or at least hear about what you're doing. So I'm gonna get to gluing. There, I think that fits better. Not quite fussy cut, but not squared off either. You know, it doesn't have to be one or the other. For those of you who hate fussy cutting, might I suggest, if you haven't already, I see people trying to fussy cut with the world's largest scissors. These are pretty average size. It seems people in other locations, the scissors are quite a bit bigger than even these. But look at the difference in size in these two kinds. They each have their purpose, you know, like fabric scissors should only cut fabric. These are my junky cut everything scissors. I have non-stick scissors for cutting sticky stuff. And I have fussy cutting scissors that have razor sharp points. They're very sharp blades, and these nice precision tips. You know, the hammer is good for pounding in nails, but it's not good for everything, you know. So if you don't like fussy cutting, maybe get yourself some good fussy cutting scissors. These I just got on Amazon for about $10, and I love them because you can adjust them. This little screw will tighten or loosen. I have put a drop of oil, so they're very smooth, and they just cut like a dream. Highly recommended. So I'm looking somewhere in here. I have other numbers because I want to put 2024. Oh, there's January. I want that on this page because this is the one right after Christmas. Yeah, this is the one right after Christmas. And so I need, now it's a new year. So that's going there. I'm moving this ever so slightly because their heads being so close together. First of all, I'll have to cut off some, but they're competing and I don't want them to compete. I want them to be their separate. I don't want them to look like they're together. They're very separate things. So that's why I'm tweaking it, even though it looks like I'm barely moving it. It does matter. Those little things do matter. I might cut this apart. Because remember, I want it sort of behind the scenes, in the background, these bright things. There, but not there, sort of. Anyway, I'm just gonna glue this, and we'll see what happens after that. I don't want to show you too much before the big reveal. When I have something like this set up that I've labored over for a while and figured out how I wanted things to be, I take a picture of it so I can put it back the way that I had it. And even then, sometimes with a picture, it doesn't end up the same way. It's cold in this room. My glue's a little tight, as they say, so I just put my finger on there a little bit, warm it up, and then she'll slide and glide like I want it to. I just go all around the edges. I find for smaller pieces this is easier for me than getting out a glue pad and making room for the glue pad and gluing all the edges on the glue pad. This seems faster to me and it's more manageable for me. Angle a little bit. Are you nuts? Why, yes, I think I am. One thing I learned from Amy, watching Amy do her glue booking, is she takes the piece that's there and she glues it in place. Now it's where it's supposed to be. I know that I want that one in the corner, so this one shouldn't be too difficult to do. And again, I just rub. I try to keep my finger out of the glue and just glue those edges. I don't always keep my finger out of the glue, but I have a towel right here that I just, or every pair of pants I own has glue on it because I don't always keep my fingers clean. But I thought that was a really good idea, that she gets it where she wants it, and then it's kind of like quick tacking when you're doing sewing projects. You know, you just kind of tack it in place so that you don't have to manage it while you're sewing on the machine. That's brilliant. Probably takes me a little bit longer to do this because I usually end up trying to go around it at least twice, mostly because I forget where I started and I don't remember, and I want to make sure that those edges stay down. But I think overall in the long run it saves me time because I don't have to move things to get the glue pad out, put the glue pad back, glue it again, etc., etc. Gonna move that down because now I'm gonna have to trim it up, and I have white space here, but it's already there and I'm gonna leave it. So if I find my 2O, I can put it over here or up here, or I can just ignore it altogether and not have to deal with it. Serving up suet, keeping birds fueled and happy. No bread. I'm gonna put that there. No bread. White bread isn't even good for the birds. Much as I love white bread, I really never eat it because it's just all sugar. Keep you birds fueled and happy by serving up suet. No bread. Are you nuts? Maybe he likes bread. And New Year, new lessons. That could go right over serving up suet. It's kind of a easy way out, but it fits there nicely. I think I would like to cut it. Not very good at cutting a straight line with my scissors, but I don't feel like getting my cutter back out, so I'm just gonna do the best I can. And I'm gonna put New Year, new lessons, serving up suet. So there's kind of a story there. New year, new lessons, serving up suet. Keep birds fueled and happy. No bread. Are you nuts? That's how it's gonna be. Time for the big reveal. I started the winter after the last page of my fall. Here, that's where winter starts. Right around Halloween. So I will just flip through and show you. It's, just a glue book. I didn't do too many crazy things this time. Although I have to say, you'll notice throughout, I went crazy with the white gel pen because it's February here, early in February, dead of winter, and we have no snow. And it's 50 degrees. Holy crap. And climate change is fake. Okay, I've never had an entire winter of 50-degree weather and no snow. It sucks. Anyway, bird walk, left turn, my bad. I went through with my gel pen and just poked some snow on a lot of the pictures that I didn't feel like had enough snow. And it gave me a tiny little feeling of control because I made it snow. And that made me happy, so I did it on a lot of pages. A lot of pages have snow. They're surrounded by snow and frost and whatnot. Beautiful frosted tomato plants. Surrounded by snow. If there wasn't any snow, back to glue booking and fake snow. So I started my winter after Thanksgiving and I did a couple of pages. More snow. I just think that adds so much to it. Before it was just plain pine cones. There was no snow at all. And that's not very wintry. In this batch, we had a truckload of words and phrases. Holy smokes, they were everywhere. We had a load. Squirrel is trying, but he feels winter is for the birds. The little cool QR code, stay snugly warm in the winter. This was a summer picture from an advertisement that I snowed up. I want winter! A real winter with snow and freezing temperatures and storms and blizzards. Then we go into Christmas, which you've already seen in another video. I'll link that below. And then after Christmas starts the new year. So January, that is a January 2024 calendar, new year, new lessons. Serving up suet, keep birds fueled and happy, no bread. Are you nuts? Apparently he's a big bread fan. Some more frosted berries. And Even though I disconnected these two, I put them back together because I like the little info bits. How sparrows native to England were released in Brooklyn to control caterpillar populations. Who knew? Who knew? Now you find house sparrows in nearly every... I need to... Here, I'll show you what I did now because I missed a few apparently. Not that it's any big shake, but I would go through on here and put in some snow on these berries. Pile some snow up and then make it snow. What are those? Those are hail rain flakes. Hail rain. Anyway, that's what I would do, and I would just sort of jiggle in some snow with my white gel pen because that's far too summery to me. Same on this side. Him too. Although there's snow here, he's fine. I don't need to snow him up. And I'm not sure why I left this so blank. I don't know if I started it and forgot to come back to it because all the other pages are nice and full, or I had so many big images and not really a whole lot of small images. I'm not going to cut a bird up. Like, I'm not going to cut him up so that I can fill in this paper. And sometimes the notebook paper bothers me and sometimes it doesn't. I'm more about how does the spread work. Right now it works well. The birds are looking the right direction. It's fairly balanced. I like the layout. If I find things that work here later, I'll throw them in. But it seems these other ones were pretty full. You know, it just depends on how the stuff I have works together. If it works together, great. I'm not going to force it. Caption this. If he had a middle finger, he'd be sticking it up, right? Like, caption this. Grumpy birds. I can totally relate. Have I mentioned I have new neighbors? Yeah, I think I'll take up drinking in the afternoons again. This is a grumpy little bush tit. She's the female, that's the little male. And I left a couple interactive pieces because I knew I wouldn't remember what her name was or what her brand style was, what she is. So I just do something like that. I don't want to see the words, but I don't want to lose the words either, you know, because I want it all. The original Angry Bird was a skunk on his head. What? They're arguing, it appears to me. So, grumpy birds. And this time, and every time I do a glue book, it's a little bit different. This time, a lot of the pages had stories. Maybe it's because I've been hanging around Amy too long, or because we had so many words and so many sort of topics. Grumpy birds, caption this. There's another one that's pretty verbal. So again, here I snowed him up just a little bit. I snowed this up and I just love it. Now to me it looks like an outdoor winter scene. It was outdoor. There's a lot of snow in the background, but I love that it snowed. And apparently we had 2 of these. I haven't looked at my pile, but I didn't have 2 of these. I had 1 of these and a different bird. So one of us got something upside down in the process, and we had a truckload of image. We had so much to work with on this. This was like a glue book marathon because both of us decided to do all the birds all at once. Though I have to say, I did my first 2, the 2 pre-Christmas ones. I did those first and then the rest of this, and it still felt like a world record of gluing. I was exhausted, and I'm telling you, tired of birds. Here's another one of those summery birds tucked behind the winter. This has a lot of story to it. How do you handle aggressive? Do you hide away? Like, just ignore it, pretend it's not here? Fair and peaceful gets tested. Get the scoop. Don't you? Don't. Across the fence. Your secrets and theirs, you know, because gossip and arguments across the fence. You did what? And, like, so full of attitude. I love this spread. You're not listening to me. You're just dishing out advice. Who are you looking at? I don't have an R, but who are you looking at? That works for me. Talk to the claw. I love that. Come on, where's the food? I'm hungry. Tips for peace? Move on. And at the bottom here, we had a lot of numbers. And so how do you handle aggressive? Everyone says count to 10. Krabby Crafter goes well beyond 10. 23. 40. I still want to kill you. Yeah. counting to 10 doesn't work for me at all. So there's a lot of story here on this spread. So how do you handle aggressive? Here's another part. Here's another interactive part where I hid underneath the winter scene a whole bunch. The fussy cutting, the plants. This is kind of a cheat, probably. But I didn't like them anywhere. I didn't want to use them. I didn't want to play with them. I wanted to make sure to see him too. You talking to me? I wanted him to be part of this aggressive thing, right? He has to be, but he's wonderful, and he's the one that we picked, I think. Either way, he's in here. I don't know if you can see up here, but up across the top of that picture there is all kinds of writing. It was white writing, and I just took a brown ink pen and scribbled around it so that you can hardly see it unless the light hits it just right. Another interactive piece, and that's where some of my, so if you're wondering, like, where's all the plants? What'd she do with all the house plants? I buried them because I don't like them, but they're in there. I made it work. Birds feeder. I just liked it instead of bird feeders. This person is a birds feeder. Lots of snow. I didn't want to do anything to this because I love all this snow. I love that it's full page. I'm okay with one thing being on a page. I'm fine with that. This one is the bird in question. Did we pick him originally, or did we pick two of the other ones? This one was upside right for me, so I already had it glued in and ready to go. Again, I snowed it up, put snow on the berries, serves to it. And I had this little bucket full of phrases still left, and I went back and I put more here and there. I added winterberry holly, and I added a few things here and there. I could have put all the words and phrases. That would have been a cool background. That would have filled in these pages. I'm not sure I remembered I had this much white space. I thought they were all pretty full. So at the end, what I ended up doing was making him a nest with all the extra stuff. So every bit and piece is in here. He's kind of three-dimensional. I left his tail out of the nest, and I just kind of made, we also had, I had a lot of green left because, again, number one, I don't like houseplants. Number two, they don't say winter to me. So I just used them to make his nest or her nest or whatever. And I love, you probably can't even really see it on camera too much, but when I flip this page, his little tail moves, and it just makes me feel like he's alive. Acrobatic foragers. I am a professional. Success. I added a little bit of snow drippage there. Another acrobatic forager. Seasonal snacks. I love what's happening. I don't know if he just landed with that snow. I just love that. There's only one thing in life, and that's continued renewal of inspiration. It's everywhere. But dang, it's cold. I wish. That is it for my birds and blooms. We decided to stick in a couple of Valentine's Day pages because 'tis the season. I will show you that at the end of this video. I'll give you the flip through of my Valentine's Day pages. This is the end of the birds and blooms pages, and as you saw earlier in the video, I still have lots and lots of gluing to do because I still have all of the digital images. So it's not too late to play along. You can still go to our Patreon pages, mine and Amy at Doki Doki Forest. The links will be below. The link to mine will be below. She'll have hers on her video. You can go and get our digital winter images, and they are gorgeous, gorgeous. And you can still play along. We haven't done the digital part yet, but I did, as I said earlier, clean them all up, got them to size, organized them. I have my scraps cut out, medium, words, and large. There might be some small tucked in there too. Yeah, here's my small one. So that'll be another part. So it's not too late. Go to our Patreon pages. It's totally free. You don't have to pay anything for it. They're just there for you to take and glue along with us between now and our next hashtag using the same images video. See what you do with what we curated for you, and then glue along. And then when we do our next part of our reveal, you can see how we all did, how everybody did things differently. So that's the end of my birds and blooms, and I went into Valentine's Day, and I took one magazine. It was a skinny little, like, Woman's Day or something magazine from February, and I went through it, and I cut out everything Valentine's-y, and it really wasn't much. So I went back through it and decided for myself what else was Valentine's-y, and I missed a lot the first time around, which is kind of crazy, but I found a lot that I considered Valentine's Day too. A lot of words. That was, the fortunes are with the fortune cookies, but celebrate chocolate. Yes, please. The tiniest little bits. The tiniest little bits that I could find. And it turned out that I had way more than enough for one page, so I did 2 pages. Actually, I had enough to do another entire spread, but I put that in my daily. I don't need to fill this book with Valentine's Day. This was the only dog in that entire magazine. One dog, whole magazine. So I got out some of my stickers and added to it, because here in the Valentine's Day, and just like in the Christmas, it was crafter's choice. We didn't harvest together. We used completely different images. It was anything we wanted it to be. So, like I said, there weren't enough dog-related things for my taste, so I added them. This is little heart sticker suckers, little heart suckers. Paw print. I had to use that, didn't I? I sure did. So next up, again, digital. Next time you see this, these will all be glued in some way, shape, or form. And you can do them too. Everything is there. Between her and I, you'll have 8 pages of beautiful digital images to play with. And even some cool scraps for, faux washi or borders, or to fill in space, or backdrops, or however you want to use them. Take advantage of having that extra bit of goodies there to play with. And we'll see you next time. Until then, please go love up your beastlies. Take good care of them, because they deserve to be well taken care of. Mate at the lake, out for now.